A bit over a month ago, I made a video where I tried trading Counter-Strike skins for the first time, and in that video we made just over 50 euros of profit, and that was enough to get me hooked. So since then I've been trading a lot more, everything from low tier skins all the way up to high tier knives and skins. And in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I do it, where I find the trades, and how you can do the same. But before we get into how I trade, let's quickly talk about where you shouldn't be trading. I've made videos on trading sites in the past, and the reality is most of these sites take a pretty big cut, usually somewhere between 10 to 25%, and because of that I'd honestly recommend staying away from them if your goal is to trade for profit. Now sure, you can snipe undervalued skins sometimes, especially if you find good floats, charms, stickers, etc, but that takes a lot of experience and it's not something I'd rely on. So why even trade in the first place? Well, the obvious answer is money. If you do it right, this is basically free profit without putting in that much time. Most of my time I'm just sending out my trade link and then reviewing offers and quickly double checking the prices. And this is very easy because I have an extension that shows me the exact price from above. I personally use the Chrome extension called CS2 Trader, not sponsored, but it gives pretty accurate pricing and just makes everything faster. And these are my pricing settings if you want to copy it. I'm using the Chinese yuan currency because I'm using the buff marketplace to provide my prices. Also, I'd like to add one thing which is quite important, but basically the bigger your inventory is, the easier it gets to trade. More skins is more possible trades, and that's why some of the most successful traders out there have hundreds of thousands of dollars in skins. Not to say it's impossible with smaller inventories, but it definitely gets a lot easier the bigger your inventory is. So how much profit am I aiming to get? Now when I trade, I usually aim for around 3 to 7% profit. If it's a liquid skin for a liquid skin, I'd take 2%. It's nothing crazy, but it adds up over time. And I'm always honest about that in my posts, which I reckon actually helps me with getting more trade offers, because the other end knows my fee. But the money isn't the only reason I do this. I also just enjoy switching up my combos. I started with a survival knife ruby and smokeout gloves, and since then I've gone through a talon doubler, a butterfly freehand, to now having a stiletto doubler, and even a karambit crimson web. But this brings me to where I actually find my trades. For this video I made a full document with all the Discord servers, Facebook groups and Steam groups I use. I will put the document in my Discord under announcements and under pinned messages, so you can easily find it. So feel free to take a look. For Discord, I usually post my trading message in different servers that have trading channels. A message like this where I write out all the tradable stuff I have, including the floats if that's important, and then including a screenshot of my entire inventory. And if you're wondering how I do that, I also use the CS2 Trader extension. Then I just sort my inventory from expensive to cheap. Then I click this button, view inventory in full screen for screenshots. And voila, here you have it. Thank you to Olaf K for showing me this. But in Discord I usually post 1 to 2 times a day, especially when more of my sought after skins aren't on trade hold. So you can see the karambit and the stiletto is on trade hold, also my fade and some other high tier skins in my inventory. So right now it's kind of a quiet period until that gets unlocked. For Facebook I usually post every other day. Here I post anonymously just to keep it simple. I also switch language depending on the group. In Danish, Norwegian and Swedish groups I'll just post in Danish because the language are pretty similar. And for the English groups I'll just reuse my Discord message. I've also started using Steam groups to push my trade link even further, and I'm still testing how effective this is. But in general, the more places your trade link is visible, the more offers you'll get. And honestly, that's probably the most important tip in this entire video. Just to get your trade link out there as much as possible. Now let's discuss trade reversals quickly. I've seen people discouraged because of trade reversals. This has also been on my mind and something I've actually experienced. Luckily only for a smaller trade worth a couple of bucks. But I'm not gonna lie, I would be kinda sad if I made a trade and one of the skins was pumped and it got reversed. Especially because I won't ever be reversing a trade, as I think it's bad etiquette in the trading scene. But I'm not gonna let it bother me too much because it's out of my control. I'm just praying that it won't happen. Also another thing that kinda sucks as an investor is that sometimes people want your skins that you think are undervalued, but if it's for a good price you'll have to trade it. It's kind of a good problem to have because you're making a profit either way, but I'm also trying to have some money on CS Float or other marketplaces so that I can repurchase. For example, I traded my M4 Fade, and luckily that actually went down a bit since I traded it, but I had to sell some skins to purchase another one on CS Float because it's an investment I hold dearly, so I want to keep it in my inventory. But yeah, that's one thing you need to take into account as well. You can also just like let people know that you won't trade it. It's basically a good problem to have. So if we need a conclusion for this video, trading is actually pretty easy to get started with, but it does take time to get really good at. And one of the hardest parts, especially in the beginning, is getting noticed. If you have a smaller inventory, fewer people will want your items, but once you start building it up, it gets a lot easier. So if you're thinking about starting, just start it. It costs nothing and you might get lucky and get some easy trades. And once again, if you want all the Discord servers, Facebook groups and everything I use, it's in my Discord in the announcement. Also, please let me know if there are any good sites I'm missing so it can go in a document. Other than that, thanks for watching. Bye.